What's up everyone, Metroid Prime Pen 18 here, and this is part 2 of 5 of my Half-Life series review, and this time the game is, of course, Half-Life 2. Now, when Half-Life 1 came out, it already received, hugely positive ratings. I mean, from just about everyone. When Half-Life 2 came out, it was even bigger. Bigger, badder, everything. I mean, everyone just loved this game completely, and they had good reason to. This game won, how many, it was like 35 Game of the Year awards. That's how many this game won. Well, nominated / won, I think. Maybe it won all of them, I don't know. But anyway, this game begins basically where you left off in the first one. In the intro, G-Man comes back and tells you about this new mission, or simply that his time is coming, Gordon's time has come again. And once again, you start off on a train. And you're entering this war-torn, desolate place known as City 17. And during Gordon's state of whatever, suspended animation, whatever, about almost the entire planet has been completely raided and destroyed by this new alien race called the Combine. And the Combine are the new big villains of the Half-Life series. You know, the Nihilants beings and the Zinnians, I guess you call them. They were just for the first one. These guys are in the next 3. And they're all controlled by this human, and usually they hate humans, but this human named Dr. Wallace Breen formed a deal. It was either like he become their leader of that certain sect, not of the whole Combine, but just the Combine of City 17, or else all his citizens would be enslaved or whatever. I mean, he basically turned against the citizens. He didn't go with them. He just chose to just throw a big fuck you right in their face. And along the way, you're first told, actually, you start out in the train station, and you eventually meet up with Barney Calhoun, who's disguised as a Combine soldier, and he tells you have to go meet Isaac Kleiner. And you're traveling on the way there, you're going through rooftops. Eventually, the Combine catch wind of your presence, and they're mobilizing to shoot you off rooftops. And you get down to this hallway, and both sides, or either side, there's doors, and out of both doors, Combine come out, and Gordon's just like beaten or stunned by their little stun batons. And then suddenly you hear this woman talking while you're still whited out, and she alone takes out like 5 or 6 Combine troops by herself. She just knocks them out. This woman's name is, she's the main character of this game next to Gordon, and her name is Alex Vance. And I'll tell you right now, out of all the female characters I've seen in games, Alex Vance definitely has to be one of the most badass I've seen. I mean, she can hold her own in almost anything. And you go down to the basement of the facility, and long story short, you enter Isaac Kleiner's lab, they all talk, and you eventually also meet Alex Vance's father, Eli Vance, who you also met in the first game. He was the one who sent you for help after the start of the Resonance Cascade. He's the guy who let you go back through the base. And you meet them. You have to motorboat your way towards Eli's lab. I mean, and eventually you end up, just after many chapters, you eventually ending up forming a rebellion, or the people form a rebellion. After you and Alex go through this giant, formerly high security prison called Nova Prospect, you strike a huge blow there for the Combine, and the people are inspired by this. They see it on the news everywhere, and the people start to form their own rebellion against the Combine, and you eventually end up taking on Breen inside of the Citadel. Well, the Breen and the Combine. And on the way to the Citadel, you fight some of the biggest ground battles ever. I mean, this is not meant to be a huge run and gun, huge battle game. I mean, this is a lot more strategy is involved in this game. More tactical. But some of these battles are just crazy huge. I mean, they are active. You see striders, these giant robot walkers everywhere. There's airships shooting at you. It just gets insane. And when you finally do get inside the Citadel, you alone kind of sneak through it, eventually going up to Breen, or his floor, and Another person that you meet, I forgot to mention earlier, you also meet this doctor named Judith Mossman. And at first she claims that she is Eli's assistant. And then you eventually find out when you get to Nova Prospect that she betrayed you and she's been a spy for the Combine the entire time. Yet she claims she only did it to save Eli's life. She seems pretty sincere, it's hard to tell at that point. But then once you reach the top, you see Breen's floor again, you see Judith again, and she seems to have turned back. So you're taken to a room, you learn that Breen has also captured Eli and Alex, and, Breen he tries to strike a deal with Gordon to join his side, and Alex and Eli are convincing him not to. And apparently now Judith has this huge epiphany that she realizes what she did was wrong. And so she turns on Breen. She locks the door behind them so none of the troops can get in. And she releases Gordon, Alex, and Eli from the pods. And then Breen runs away. Long story short, you and Alex find the main reactor room he's in. Gordon goes down there and stops him. And then the reactor explodes, leaving both Alex and Gordon in peril. And then time freezes, and G-Man comes back again. And you're left with this semi-cliffhanger ending that is just extremely cinematic and very well done. Definitely excellent story in this game, without a doubt. Now, gameplay. Just as with Half-Life 1, incredible gameplay. I mean, very, very slight learning curve in the controls, if any at all, really. The only gripe I have with the controls is that controlling vehicles, especially the car, or whatever it's called like no, I think it's just called the car. The boat is called like the Mud Skipper or something. But the car can be kind of awkward to control, especially with the Xbox 360 controller, which is what I have it on. I have the orange box for the 360. But those can be overlooked. I mean, you get used to it eventually. That's the biggest curve I can think of is with the vehicles. And just as with the last game, you have a big array of weapons here too. You have your crowbar, your pistol, your magnum, crossbow. Another thing that seems weird is the reduction in ammo supply for pretty much every single one of your guns. The Magnum in this game carries only 18 bullets maximum. The one from Half-Life 2 carried like 42. 6 in the current clip, and then 36 in reserve. This time it's 6 in the current clip, only 12 in reserve. They drastically decrease the ammo supply for every single one of your guns in this game, mainly because this game is not as run and gun as the original Half-Life was. I mean, there's a lot more, not really puzzles, but more stuff to do other than just killing enemies. So you don't need so much ammo. But the best part in this game, one of the best parts, is the introduction of the gravity gun. The 0-point energy field manipulator, or gravity gun. With this thing, anything is ammo. You pick up barrels, boxes, you throw them at your enemy. You can form walkways, you can form little ladders that you can climb on and stuff, to reach something. And it's pretty much an all-purpose gun. Anything is ammo. It never runs out. It doesn't overheat. Like, remember the grabber I told you about from Doom 3 Resurrection of Evil? Well, the gravity gun is the grabber times infinity. It's way better. I mean, you can hold on to something for as long as you want it. It'll never drop it. So it's badass. Complaints I have with this game, like I said, vehicle controlling is a bit awkward. My main complaint, however, is the use of aux power. Aux power is pretty much the same for everything you do. It's used for sprinting. It's used for your flashlight battery life. It's also used for your oxygen level when swimming, I think. Now, for some reason, no, it is the same. Why is one aux power used for oxygen, sprinting, and flashlight? Now, oxygen and sprinting, I could kind of guess coincide because they have to do with how much breath you have left. Because I'm guaranteeing you're going to run out of breath when you sprint. But why is it the same as the flashlight? How can a flashlight have the same amount of breath as someone's body? And for that reason, you're going to have the flashlight on a bit, and you're going to be sprinting at the same time, so your battery life / oxygen level is going to drain pretty fast. So that was the main complaint. And they did fix this in episode 2, I think. I think in episode 1 it was still the same, but in episode 2 they fixed it. The flashlight is its own battery. But aside from that, I really have no other complaints about this game. This game is just amazing to have. Definitely, this is a definite goodbye for this game. I mean, the gravity gun alone makes this game extremely addicting. Just picking up stuff and launching it at enemies. I mean, it's just incredibly fun. Definitely deserving of all the awards it's won. So, overall, I give this game same score as the original Half-Life, 9.7 out of 10. Definite thumbs up. Two thumbs up from me. So, that concludes part 2 of my Half-Life series review. Next will be Half-Life 2 Episode 1, which will come Wednesday, because Tuesday is my all-day college day. So with that, Metroid signing off.